folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to The Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's up, Rally? I'd ask how you're doing, man, but you were there in person, so I can't imagine it's good.
How about this? Warmer. Hey, man, that Minnesota cold hits you differently than doggone DMV cold. And I had a guy who came on the trip from Detroit, and I was like, hey, man, is this cold to you? Because Detroit is right at the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan, the water comes right up there. He was like, nah, bro, it's cold. And I said, okay. So if somebody from Detroit lets you know that it's cold, then it's cold.
Yeah, man. It was Smoot was on with B. Mitch and Finley today talking about it, and I almost forgot that Fred used to play up there. So they asked him, "How did you handle it, man?" I don't know how I forgot about that, with the whole Love Boat and everything else. But they asked him, "How did you handle it?" And he says, "I guess your blood has a chance to thicken when you're up there." And this is Fred, so I don't know if any of this is a fact or if this is Fred just pulling stuff out of his butt. But he said the guys weren't there long enough. You guys weren't there long enough for your body to kind of climatize to it. And I'm sorry, there's no way you could pay me to be there long enough. JP said during the game at the beginning, they were dropping fake snow through the stadium.
I didn't see that, even though I got there pretty early. But I will say there's something to say with what Fred is saying as far as, I don't know about if it's thick blood or not, but I think your body just gets accustomed to it, because I worked outside for, I'd say for the better of maybe 9 to 10 years. And what's cold to some people isn't cold to me. Now, what was cold in Minnesota, it was cold. But I will say that based upon what I was able to, my previous experiences being in the cold, I knew how to say, okay, yeah, it's cold, but I can deal with it, if that makes sense. Versus some people are just like, oh my God, it's so cold, the world's going to come to an end, and I just got to get inside, So I knew that it was going to be cold, so mentally, I guess I just dealt with it a little bit better, because the people on my trip, I told them there's 2 points that you're going to be cold. The first one is waiting for the metro rail to pick us up, because it can come anywhere between 9 and 15 minutes. So you're going to be standing out in the cold. I said the second is after the game. Once again, 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes waiting on the train. And so I said, so just prepare yourself for that time and you'll be okay. Because otherwise, you're inside, or you're going into a warm car. So that realistically, you're not going to be out there just in the cold. And before anybody asks, no, I did not tailgate. I got off of the train and took my yellow butt inside of the stadium.
I was actually wondering, before we get into the game, though, we got some stuff we gotta chat about. And we put out the bat signal to our listeners, and they definitely answered the call. You guys responded. The video got seen 100,000 times on all the different socials. And you guys some people were trying to copy me on their emails to ticket reps. And you don't need to do that. Trust me, they already know that we're the ones that asked you to reach out, because I can see that they looked at it. And I know that they heard the video and I got back to them. And I don't know if anything's going to come from this. I'm not too sure what's going to happen. But all I know is we have to at least try. Right? If nothing happens and we didn't do anything, then shame on us. If nothing happens, but we did do something, then shame on them. Right? And I actually sent a letter I got from the Colts to X, and you guys forwarded that to your reps. Once the Colts figured out where they were playing in January, then they gave their fans back 10% for that game that they were missing. So I'm holding out hope that our team does the same thing. Whenever it gets announced where we're going to play, maybe they'll then do what's right and give us back that prorated game that we're not going to get. Because it's only fair, but if not, we at least tried, man.
Well, first off, once again, shout out and thank you to all of our listeners who took the gravitas, if you will, to say something, because a lot of people won't say anything. And what we know is this: we believe that our ownership they're a fair group of guys. They are working class guys just like us, but they make more money at working, if you will.
Oh
So, and
yeah.
they understand that, hey, you know what? We're getting paid basically off the backs of these people. So I honestly believe that when it comes down to it, the right thing will be done. And there's something said, that old adage, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You know, that's just how it works, man. I mean, like you said, if we didn't say anything, then no one will be the wiser. But the fact is, people know now. I got to tell you, man, a lot of this was even new to me. I mean, not to say that I'm all knowing or anything like that, but a lot of the behind the scenes stuff just I was unaware of. So I'm being educated just like you, because normally what would happen is I get my invoice and I'd pay it because I just knew that I would already be at the game, so to speak. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
We're going no
I'm
matter
not gonna,
what.
yeah, no matter what. But the fact is something needs to be said as far as the nuances that are involved with these tickets. And I am happy that I'm in the know, if you will, versus not in the know. So shout out to the different organizations who have done the different things to give the blueprint, if you will, for us to be able to possibly get something back in return.
Yeah. I mean, there's a precedent, and we're just trying to show them that, hey, this has happened before, right? I'm doing a ton of research on PSLs, right? Just to document what other teams did. And I hate to say it, but the Cowboys gave their fans, I want to say it was 30 years to pay their PSL. Now, that stadium was built a very long time ago. And I seriously don't think that we're going to get anywhere near that to pay ours when it comes out. But best believe it's an example that I'm going to show them whenever I get a chance to have a discussion with them and go
Yeah.
from there. But all we can do is try, right? And that's why we really appreciate our listeners, on top of the fact that you guys support and listen to the show. But when we put asks like that out, you don't hesitate and you reach out respectfully, and you just try and do what's right for the rest of the fan base.
The thing about Jerry Jones, man, and no one likes the Cowboys, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Jerry thinks outside of the box, and he understood or understands that once again, these are working class people. Yes, you're going to have your sweet holders. You're going to have your upper echelon of people who can fork that money out. What's the tunnel pass cost? What, $10,000, $30,000, something like that? I mean, the average guy just doesn't have that. But what the average guy can do, and I've always said this, and this is something that also is my company is modeled by. You know, none of us are rich. However, if you allow me to make a payment on something, I'll be just as rich as the next man. And that's why we are able to have the amount of people come to games the way that they come to, because of the payment plan aspect of things.
Yeah, it's crazy because their payment plan ranged from 16,000 to $150,000 per seat back then, right? And this was what, 2013 when that thing was built,
Yeah.
right around there. And it was a 30-year financing plan, right? That's a mortgage. It's a 30-year mortgage that he gave people. And I'm seeing now that teams like the Bills and the Titans are giving a 3 or a 5-year plan, right? I mean, it's it's crazy to me, and I'm dumbfounded by the fact that Jerry Jones is actually doing something positive. But like you said, he knows his fan base. And I'm hoping ours understands that and listens as well. Grant, they had to pay interest on it. I think it was an 8% interest, but 8% interest over 30 years, if you can pay this thing off sooner, then hey, I'm all for that, especially if my PSL is going to be X. But I don't want to even jump into the PSL conversation. We just want to thank you guys for reaching about our season tickets for next year. The auto renewal happens on December 15th if you're signed
Yeah.
up for that. And some people didn't even know that there was an auto renewal, right? So it's, to me, part of the show is about educating the fan base and also talking about the actual team itself. And jumping into the team itself, man, before we get into it, you were out there. Did you tour the stadium?
I did not tour the stadium. I was busy doing SB event stuff once again. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've always told people that I am a fan. However, I'm a business owner as well. And so there are a lot of times when I'm just not able to kick back and do the things that other people would do because, as you know, we've got a Giants trip coming up
Yeah.
here next Sunday, and so it doesn't stop. I won't stop until probably after this Giants trip because I'm not doing anything for the Philadelphia Eagles game. I'm going, but I won't be putting on a trip for it per se. So after this, I'll be able to slow down a little bit, and I'll be able to actually become a fan, if you will, once again.
Is there even a demand to go up to Philly for the last game of the year? I mean, I
Well,
can't believe that there would
because they
be.
haven't come up with a time, I can't put a bus trip together. There's always people who want to go. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. People always want to do things, but I don't think that it's fair that now this is another subject altogether. They haven't come up with a time, and we know why, because they want the biggest rating for the biggest bang for their buck, and they want to make sure that possibly you can play spoiler, so they want the biggest ratings. I get it, but as far as anything outside of that, that hurts me or hurts people who want to go, and I can't plan anything because the time is TBD.
So speaking of, and I know this is off topic, have you been affected yet by games being flexed out of spots with your trips? Because I don't think
No.
okay, yeah, because we haven't really had that. I know that it was one thing that I want to say the Colts owner was fighting that Thursday night games or games like that can't be moved out of that day because it's just going to drastically change fans' travel plans, right? And
Right.
being, a travel planner like you are, I can't imagine that logistical nightmare of all of a sudden your game from a Thursday getting moved to a Sunday at 4 o'clock. Like, what are those fans supposed to do that bought those tickets and those hotels and everything else?
I think the only thing that has really ever affected me is when the president was closing down the streets for something. I don't remember what it was, and as you know, my bus stops are the Pentagon and Arundel Mills. So
Oh
we
yeah.
couldn't park at the Pentagon. So I had to have everybody go out to basically Springfield Mall for the pickup because that was far enough out of the way. So that's the
Yeah.
only thing that's ever really changed, if you will. But as far as flexing the time, now back if it did happen, people were just excited because if they flexed it, that means that we were doing pretty
We're
good.
doing well.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we were doing pretty good. So they wanted to be a part of the action. So nah, that's never happened.
Yeah, this was our first 1 o'clock game in a long time. And I'm not going to say I missed it. I enjoyed actually having a majority of my day. I mean, you started off by talking about kind of preparing for the cold. I went out Sunday morning and it was 30 degrees here to go play pickleball. And I got to the court and there were two people there. Right. I'm guessing everyone's just like, nah, it's way too cold. I'm not going out there. But I hadn't played in a long time. So I was trying to get some exercise in and, get something done. Turns out it was packed later on, but we were already playing and I didn't get a chance to actually go back out. I really wasn't in the mood to go back out after watching what the hell we just watched. But I know some of our listeners did a stadium tour and it looked awesome. And the only reason I ask is because the team that won the bid is also the same team that helped construct the Viking Stadium.
Yeah.
So I am curious to see what they're going to kind of tie in from SoFi, because you did that earlier this year,
Mhm.
to whatever the hell, what's US Bank?
Yeah. U.S.
Yeah,
Bank.
US Bank to whatever we're supposed to look like. So it's going to be exciting once that actually happens, but also scary.
Yeah, it will be. But I gotta tell you, so I think it's what is it? HKS is the company, and I did do the stadium tour at SoFi, and that was immaculate. So if that's the case, and they bridge U.S. Bank with SoFi, man, we're gonna be in for one hell of a ride, bro. And I mean, I just look at all of the new things that think about the new technology that's going to come out between now and 2030 or even 2031. You know, I look at what US Bank has done, and US Bank is probably what, 4 years old now, 5 years
Gosh,
old.
she opened in 2016, man.
God dang it. See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's crazy. And it's still top notch, but it was
Yeah, oh
2016,
yeah.
9 years ago.
Yeah. Because I remember going to the Metrodome back in 2013, I believe. And I was in awe with the Metrodome, even though people were like, it's terrible, it's so old. But I was in awe with the Metrodome. And but now And I was actually talking to some fans who said that, believe it or not, they're happy with US Bank, but they would rather be at the Metrodome. I know that's hard to believe, but hey, man,
They elaborate why, or was it tailgating,
they
or what did it have to do with?
they just enjoyed the inside of the stadium. That's what they told me. It wasn't tailgating. It was just they just enjoyed, I guess, how the rows were set up
Okay.
back
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
I mean, I got some friends that had season tickets for the Raiders, right? And it was more personable. You were on top of the team. You were right there. And being an Allegiant, you're so far removed from everything. It just feels a little
Mhm.
more sanitary, right? And going to the Giants game out there, their stadium, there's no personality there because they just got to rotate those signs between the
Yeah.
Giants and the Jets. So it is just so neutral and kind of boring. But I am looking forward to what ours looks like. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping you were gonna tailgate because I sent you that picture of the guy from the Tailgating Hall of Fame that he posted on the Facebook group, thinking, "Oh man, Rally actually did tailgate. He met up with one of the Tailgating Hall of Fame guys out there." But no, not for you.
No, man, once we got off the train, Ted, I gotta tell you, my mind was made up. I saw the tents that looked like they had heaters in them, but the other thing was, so once you got off of the train, you had to kind of, so the train lets you off basically right in front of the stadium, which means you're out and you can go up. To get to the tailgate, you kind of had to go around, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, let me just go up these steps and go inside. Let me tell you, it was so cold, Ted, and I never thought I'd see this because I thought animals could handle the cold. I saw dead pigeons on the steps
Oh my
walking up.
gosh.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
what are
that's
they doing there? It's winter.
well, I mean,
Fly south.
where the pigeons gonna go, bro? No, pigeons
They
don't
don't
go
fly
south.
south?
They don't fly
What?
south. No.
I thought all birds flew south for the winter. What are you talking
No,
about?
brother. No, man. These pigeons were. I should have took a picture of these pigeons. They were DOA, brother, on the steps, and people were just walking around them. And so, if you're a listener and you were at that game and you saw the dead pigeons, corroborate what I'm saying because I couldn't believe it. And then the pigeons. Now, some pigeons were all huddled together. I mean, they were just like really together. And let's face it, pigeons normally are afraid of humans. So when you walk up, they'll fly away.
Yeah.
Not these pigeons. These pigeons just stay there, bro. They were like, we ain't leaving this little warm spot here.
That's crazy, man. So no tailgating, but I'm assuming you were on the field pregame.
That's a negative, sir.
What? So
That didn't happen.
you didn't do anything at this point. Did you? Okay, so
Th-
here's the real reason. You just hung out at White Castle. That's what happened.
Now let me tell you, I had White Castles probably 5 times.
Five times in how many days you were there? So that was your
Yeah,
tailgating. You're just hanging out
that,
at
that
White Castle.
that was my tailgate. Now I will tell you this: they have this drink that pays homage to the old team persona, the Purple People Eaters. That drink, and I'll show you a picture of that. Oh, brother, that sucker is on point. It's purple. It's on point. And I don't know what they mix in it, but let's just say the captain was feeling mighty fine.
I'm guessing you were on a sugar high too after having that thing.
No, it wasn't sugar. It was alcohol, brother.
Well, you needed every little bit to get through that game, man. So no tailgate, no pregame pass. Because I was going to ask you what was the team's vibe. So where were you sitting? Because I didn't see you on the broadcast.
Yeah, I was sitting in the zone.
Okay.
I was sitting
Well, we never
basically.
scored, so they never showed you. So
Well, actually, when the Vikings scored, I saw myself on the big screen.
okay.
But I was sitting right there in front of the V, if you will, in the end zone.
Were you
But
in the end zone that we threw the tackle eligible pass to? Or Brandon
no,
Coleman going out in the okay.
no, and that pissed me off. But anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. But
Oh,
just
we're gonna get into that, man. We definitely
okay,
got to get into that. So ahead of time, I'm assuming you at least got there to watch warm-ups ahead of
I
time.
did, I
Okay.
did.
What was the vibe of the team? Right, we're coming off that high, even though we lost against the Broncos on Sunday night. We finally have the entire offense out there, except for Austin Eckler, that we're supposed to have for week 1 of the season, right? Like, what did it feel like? Was the guys excited? They came out wearing their Capitals jerseys to support the Caps because they're on a heater right now. I mean, some of the stuff that we don't get a chance to see because we're watching on TV until they cut to it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, everybody looked like they were ready to go, man. I mean, looked like any other game. Um, until it didn't. And I don't know. Once again, I never played in the NFL, so I don't know, but I just felt like we were destined to repeat what we did the week prior. And based upon that, I said we're gonna win. And we talked about it. Matter of fact, I made reservations because I said we are going to have victory steak.
Yeah, I actually just took my victory steak that I was going to make for dinner tonight after we record, and I just put it in the freezer. I mean, we're not gonna. I don't know if we're winning again this season. I'm not trying to be funny about it, but right
Yeah,
now, to get shut out by the Vikings, who got
yeah,
shut out the week prior by the Seahawks, who have just had a horrible offense all year. They got outscored 49-6 their last 2 games, and they dropped the 31 bomb on us. I don't know what I'm watching right now when it comes to this team. And my FanDuel account was 0. I reloaded on Sunday thinking the spread didn't change once they said Jayden was going to play because we were getting 2 points. I'm thinking, oh, we're going to freaking just rob Vegas out of all this money or FanDuel. Nope. They got one over on me. I pretty much have to reload my account again after all the parlays and everything else I put in, right? Chris Rodriguez touchdown. Was it Jeremy McNichols over 9 yards receiving, right? Jayden over 1 touchdown pass. Like, just all these things that should have happened, right? And I'm guessing you put in a couple parlays too.
let's just say this. Thank God that Minnesota does not allow online betting because
I mean, McNichols to have over 9 yards. That
he's
is
selling.
That's so simple, man. And it was unbelievably frustrating. And first, okay, they actually received the ball. They did not respect us at all. They said, you know what? We're taking
Yep,
the ball. They drove it right down our throats.
yep.
Our defense that stopped the Broncos from time to time and actually put up a fight against them, thinking JJ McCarthy, whose different beat reporters were saying they're going to draft a new quarterback next year because this kid is so bad, just
Hmm.
carved us like a hot knife through butter, right? And thinking, okay, that's fine, right? The offense drove right down the field, got the ball all the way down to the 2. And this is just what I'm so mad at someone in our fan base about this. The tackle eligible play, just 3 pass plays in a row. I mean, what were you thinking when all that was going on?
I said, all right, here we go. We're gonna run this ball and get in the end zone because like you, I even though I wasn't able to bet, but in my mind I was saying, okay, here we go. Rodriguez, C-Rod, he's gonna get a touchdown. Nope, 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 and nope. And then I said to myself, you know what? Tell me you don't want to win a game without telling me you don't want to win a game. And that's how, after that, I really started feeling that way. And then so the ball's on the 2. So the defense is basically tired because they just got drugged opening possession. They're tired. Now they get back on the ball on the 2-yard line. And here we are. They go for 12 minutes. I said, there's no way you can win a football game being on the field, your defense being on the field that long. They're human beings. They're not robots. They get tired. Even though they get paid to play, at the end of the day, it's like Madden. Your meter goes down, if you will. Your healthy meter or Call of Duty when you get shot so many times. You know what I mean? And that's what this reminded me of. The meter just went down and kept depleting until I really didn't feel that they had anything left in them. And at that point, it was just like, hey, guys, let's just get off the field. That's how I
Yeah.
felt.
I mean, time possession in the first half, it was 18 minutes, 48 seconds to 11 minutes, 12 seconds. Right. That
Can't win
drive,
games. Yeah. Yeah.
that 98-yard drive took what, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
It's And they had a chance to stop them, right? There were some third and longs in that drive. There was a 3rd and 9, a 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 12, right? They converted everything. And a team that was 30% all year on third down, just I don't know what the problem was. And we didn't blitz, right? They just let McCarthy pick apart the zone. We couldn't get any pass rush against him at all. And Kevin O'Connell, it looked like he was playing chess, and it looked like DQ's defense was playing checkers, at least on the TV.
Well, it seemed to me that they were trying to not get burnt by Jefferson and have him do the gritty on us. That's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah.
Even though I got to tell you, their graphics were on point because I think he got a first down and he did a little bit of the gritty. And the next thing you know, they have a gritty-tron, if you will, to where they put the players up there doing the gritty and little kids are doing the gritty. So, I always tell people, even though the on-field play wasn't good, the overall fan experience at the stadium was good. So if I was a Vikings fan, man, I'd be loving life. But even as a Commanders fan, I'm all for giving credit where credit is due. So if I had to look on a positive thing, it would be that the stadium experience for the Vikings fans. How about that? And that's terrible if that's all I can get positive of my experience in Minnesota, besides these White Castles.
I've got some friends that are Vikings fans, and I didn't really communicate to go back and forth with them because of what happened, and I don't even like doing that anyway. But they were so happy. I mean, their team has been horrible, just like ours.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm happy for them. Like my wife's cousin is a diehard Vikings fan. So he and I text back and forth, and he tries to text me about fantasy football advice, asking if he should start Bill and all this other stuff in different parts of the year. And I'm happy that his team won, but I am so angry at the fact that this is now 8 games in a row, right? This was a winnable game. This should have been a winnable game. To get our ass kicked so much by a bad Vikings team, what does that make us at this point? Right? And we were all hanging our hats on the fact that
we worse Commanders team.
But we were all happy about losing to the Broncos because the Broncos are so good. Right? And now we don't even score a single point against the Vikings. It's beyond frustrating, man.
Yeah, it was, Ted. And I'm here to tell you that, as I said, tell me you don't want to win a game without telling me you don't want to win a game. And that's what it felt like. It also feels, and I'm not going to say that this is the case, but it feels like maybe they've thrown the towel in a little bit. You know, just get out of this. It reminds me of the teams in the past. We've been through this before, and we've seen a lot of teams, or a lot of times when the team said, "All right, you know what? Just get out of it healthy, as healthy as you possibly can be. You know, put up a fight, but just enough to get out of it, so we can go home." That's what it seemed like.
We talked about it.
Yeah,
we talked about it on the last pod how teams in the past that you're referencing, guys would make business decisions, right? And I went back and watched the All 22 today. I don't know why, but I wanted to figure, were guys actually open, right? What the hell happened? Like, tried and put an answer to the final box score. And guys were trying. It's just, there were maybe 3 passes I feel that Jayden missed because he got happy feet or because he stared a couple people down. Other than that, guys were covered. Guys just weren't getting open. And we talk about that play to Brandon Coleman, right? The tackle eligible in the end zone, right? And I posted a video of that. And fans were defending the play call, saying Coleman was open. Like, to me, you don't even call that play. You hadn't won a game in 63 days. You just drove down the field. Chris Rodriguez is getting 8 yards a carry, and you decide to get cute. It reminds me of Kingsbury loves a cheddar bob and shoot himself in the foot. All of a sudden, we're driving down the field, right? And next thing you know, he goes wildcat and just throws a wrench in the rhythm that the offense has. And he just did it again. And after we didn't get in at the 2, I almost felt like I don't want to say the guys gave up because they didn't see that on the film, but I feel like they just lost all of their desire to play that day.
I could probably agree with you on that. Here's the other thing, Ted. Those guys, once again, I always use the human reference. They're human. They felt that they could beat the Vikings. And once it didn't happen to the way that we as fans thought, imagine how they felt. Well, damn, okay. And they stayed in it for a little bit. I'm not gonna say that business decisions were being made. They tried to stay in as best as they possibly could. But then after a while, it did seem that way. Even after that first drive and we didn't score, I believe that their heads were in it. But then once they went 14-0, and then we were thinking, okay, you know what, 14-0, we get the ball back halftime. And things didn't go our way. That's when that meter that I was telling you about started to go down, go down, go down. I mean, they still put up an effort, but it wasn't the type of effort that we saw the week prior.
Yeah, I mean, we've been down by 2 touchdowns before, right? Getting the ball at half, right? And run that thing back. Okay, we get the ball at the 23. We start off right there. We're so definitely within this game, right? It's just, it's JJ McCarthy. It's the Vikings, right? If we can just get a drive together, I just feel we couldn't do it. And what were you thinking when Jayden threw that pick and you saw him run down there and try to make that tackle?
Well, I thought that at that point in time, he's on defense and make a play. But I didn't think that. Well, so yeah, I thought he was on. Hey, he's on defense, try to make a play, or slow the guy down. But I didn't realize that the guy was going to push the crap out of him and make him fall on that elbow. So it's football, bro. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure that when he was in LSU, he threw a pick and he probably tried to make a tackle and made the tackle or whatever have you. And even in his rookie season, I'm sure he threw a pick and tried to make a tackle. And man, things happen, man. A little scrape can turn into something big after getting hit like that. So I'm happy they took him out to save him from himself. I think that was a smart thing to do from the coach, even though they said that he could have gone back in, but we weren't coming back. And save the kid from himself. Live to fight another day.
Yeah, so it's actually DQ talking about if Jayden could have come or could have played again.
Give you an update on Jayden. Obviously fell on his elbow, was questionable to return and could have. It was my decision to sit him out. Just as a team at this point, we were off and felt like that was the right call for us to go.
So DQ came out today and said that, they're going to evaluate Jayden. For some reason, his press conference, the beginning part of it, was not streamed, and they also didn't stream it on X. You had to kind of hunt it down. And I'm not saying they did that on purpose, but it's just kind of odd that that happened after that butt whooping. But let's see here. Just looking at what John Kimes said. Quinn said, doctors examined Jayden Daniels today, and there's no long-term concerns. Quinn said there is soreness, but no update yet on this week as to if Daniels will be available to play. And I know you're in the end zone. You probably haven't had a chance to go back and watch the game. I don't recommend anyone goes back to watch the game. But
you want torture?
Yeah, pretty much, depending what you're into. But there were a couple times where Jayden slid or he dove and he put down that left arm to brace himself, right? So to me, that was a positive sign that if he's putting that thing down there, he's okay, right? He put some padding on it and he's okay. There's a video I want to say that Grant Paulson took because he was right down there on the sideline of Jayden just throwing his helmet on the ground. I think they were telling him he's not going back in anymore. And realistically, he should not have gone back in anymore. And we talked about this. I think you and I might have disagreed on it. I want Jayden to play. And this was prior. I know last week you definitely said you wanted him to go in. But my caveat was Jayden needs to play. He needs the reps. Put him in there if the offensive line is healthy and if it's not a blowout. It turned into a blowout. And they should have sat him, which is what they did. And I'm happy they did that.
I've always said, if a player is healthy, play them. I never said give up on the kid. If he's healthy, play them, and he's been cleared, play him. If not, there's no sense in doing that.
Knowing he could have gone back in if it was a bigger game or something happened, I'm fine with the fact that he didn't, right? If he could have medically been cleared, it sounds like he could have medically been cleared to go back in. Don't put him back in there, right? And
If this was a 7-point game, heck yeah, he goes back in. But
I think at that point it was only a 14-point game, but realistically, it was more than a 14-point game. The way the offense looked, the way that Minnesota just
right,
had our number, they were
right.
just off. Minnesota, their defense dictated everything. The offense didn't dictate a single thing, and that's what was so annoying because you know what Minnesota likes to do. They don't fool you at all. They blitz and blitz and blitz, and you got to beat it. And I went back and looked at it, and it just didn't seem like there were any routes or any plays that were called to address that blitz, right? A lot of these actual routes that were being run were longer developing routes. And guess what? Kid didn't have time to throw. They never moved the pocket on him to try and buy him some more time. And then eventually he just got happy feet because he was getting pressured left and right, and he thought people were there even though they weren't. And it's just upsetting, man, because the Broncos game gave me faith that we would be competitive the final 5 games of the season.
Yeah.
This game, I don't know if we're going to be competitive the final 4 games of the season. And guess what? It's all against division. Oh, and it's also going to be on Hard Knocks.
Well, the only thing I can say is, even though we are coming to the end of the Commander season, a lot of these players still need to play well, because if the Commanders don't keep them, they need to put up tape for their next team, if you will. So you may not feel they have anything to pay for, but if that's your job to be a professional football player, you're going to want to put the best foot forward, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring to you. And I hate to say that, but that's just the realistic aspect of it all, you know? So I'm hoping that even though the Giants are favored, that we don't look at that and we put our best foot forward. And we know that we've had an issue sometimes at the Meadowlands, man. And so I'm just going to do what I can do, and I'm going to cheer my butt off like I always do. And I'm going to ask everybody else, they do the exact same thing. And hopefully Jayden plays. He's well enough to play. And, our prayers go out to
Ertz.
Zach Ertz, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
done for the year. Torn ACL.
it didn't look good live at the stadium. So I know that for all the replay guys who can rewind and go back and rewind and go back again, I know you guys saw something, and I don't even want to see it because it didn't look good live.
Not as ugly as what happened to Jayden with a dislocation, but I think Chuck Hernandez put it in slow-mo on his X, and yeah. I mean, live, he landed on his head. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, what happened there? But then you see him grab his leg at that point. Then I had texted you to let you know he's crying on the cart, right? At that point, when a player is doing that and a player like him is crying and bawling on the cart, and Mariota basically put his hand over top of him to basically pray with Zach, right? You got to think his career's done. And you don't wish that on anybody, but realistically, it's December, torn ACL, to go through rehab again at his age. I can't see him stepping on the field again as a player. He's been playing for way too long. And why? Why come back and do that? And the only bright spot, if there is one, is that means we can see what Ben Sennett has. We can see what Colson Yankoff has. These other guys are going to get a shot and step up. Because like you said, people are playing for contracts. People are playing to put up tape. And those guys are under contract. But NFL contracts, they're not guaranteed. It's not like the NBA. You can still get cut, right? Yeah. So put up some tape to prove that you should be on this 53 next year. Because right now, I'm not seeing a lot of guys that deserve to be on this 53 guaranteed next year, other than what? Tunsil, Terry, right? Chris Rodriguez, Jordan McGee. I can't think of very many other guys that are a lock. Sandra he still had a bad game.
Man, it was overall just bad. There's no way you can sugarcoat it. It was bad. They know it was bad. They put up a goose egg. I don't know how many fans from opposing teams sent me donuts, you know. So
So they were tweeting you donuts?
just sent me donuts,
Oh
not
man.
tweeting, but Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So, it's just one of the things that, hey, it happens. And one of the things that the Vikings were always they were trying to say, oh man, good luck and sorry for your loss. I said, hey man, this is a part of life. In life, you can't win them all, and this is sometimes the best way to build up character, And let's face it, we got a lot of character because we've had some bad years, bro. And so this is no different than before. We just didn't want it to happen under this new regime, but this new regime's got to take their lumps too. So welcome. And I know that you guys are going to do something different. I don't know what you're going to do, but I feel that you guys are going to do something to to tell Dan Quinn, hey, we can't have much more of this, even though they understand that it's football, it's sports. But don't be surprised if some changes happen somewhere. I don't know where, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Kingsbury is going to be here. He's going to get a job someplace else. But last year we were all saying, I hope he doesn't leave. I hope he doesn't leave. Now after this game, you got fans saying, I hope he's gone. I hope he does get a job offer someplace else, right? And I don't know what's going to happen because that means we're going to have a whole new defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator. But those are discussions for the offseason.
Yep.
I did have fans from other teams saying, is DQ on the hot seat? And to me, no. His job is not at risk at all. Considering what he did last year, he's fine. Him and Peters are perfectly fine. I think this is our worst losing streak since 1960, 1961, right? We lost 7 games in a row one year, and then we lost the next game the next year. So it was 8 in a row then. But I can't remember being a fan where it's just been this long since we've won an actual game, obviously, since I wasn't born back then. But the thing is, it doesn't feel like that, like gloom and doom, because maybe the injuries and the fact that we finally have a quarterback, but then there are some out there calling him RG4, right?
Dang.
He's just injured.
That ain't good.
No, right? And he's injury prone. I mean, what are your thoughts or response to those people?
I say calm down, or as if you're old enough to know the movie Stripes, lighten up, Francis. That's how I look at it. And if you know that quote, then you know that quote. But lighten up, Francis. We're so split and so fast to come to a judgment to where nobody was saying that last year. Everybody was on his jock, and you know he gets healthy and we play better next season, you'll be back on his jock. So let what happens what's happening right now, unfortunately or fortunately, needs to happen. Because as long as we continue to think that we're this team that we're not, then these results will happen. It's time to get back to playing the type of football that we need to play. And the other thing is this. Obviously, it shows that whether the timing is off, whether he's not feeling right or uncomfortable, whatever it is, this isn't the same Jayden. This isn't the same offense. Yes, the offensive coordinator is still there, but this isn't the same, and it shows. So we gotta take our feelings out of it and put this in perspective because it doesn't look the same, So just I always say, just calm down. And I know we don't want to calm down. We were 60 minutes from freaking the Super Bowl, basically. We don't want to calm down. We want to go back to there, but that's why it's in the rear view. It's not in front view. It's in the rear view. That happened. Focus on what you can, and that's what we need to work on. Best believe, I'm sure there was some furniture moving with DQ, trying to figure out what the HE double hockey sticks is going on with my squad.
I mean, he said that DQ said they were lost, but they're not lost anymore.
Right? Well, I don't know. You went deep. You went deeper into the forest, bro, and I don't see no breadcrumbs. So
No.
I don't know how you're gonna get out of it.
They were definitely lost this week. The offense, the defense. I mean, maybe special teams was okay, but they were definitely lost this week. And this is actually what he had to say during the beginning of his press conference.
What I told the team was I thought we took a step forward last week, and tonight I thought we took 3 steps back. And we didn't find our rhythm and let them live into theirs. So tonight, to me, none of it was acceptable.
Man, it's unacceptable what we watched, and they're going to learn from it, right? And this is why I want Jayden to play, right? Guys like him that are blue chippers, they don't face adversity like this in college, right? This is what builds your character, and this is what I want to see. How do they bounce back? How do they respond, right? Going against a defense like that is going to come at you from every angle, best believe he's going to make sure he's prepared next time, right? And this was a tough landing spot for him to come back from. The Giants probably would have been a lot softer, but the kid needs reps. And those of you out there that don't want him to play against the Giants, even if he is healthy, I'm never going to agree with you because he's got such few reps under his belt. And it's obvious. This showed me he needs more experience. And the only way to get it's by playing.
Definitely. And I got to go back, Ted, to the beginning of the show, if you will. A big shout out goes to the basically 350 people that came to the rally Saturday night at the Rabbit Hole. I got to give you guys your props because it was cold and you guys endured the cold even though it was warm inside. Big shout out goes out to Terry McLaurin's dad. He got up and said a few words, as well as JD5, Mama 5. She got up on stage and said a few words. So, so it all wasn't bad, if you will. The playing on the field, yes, we can't control that. But what we could control, we did, and we shut the Rabbit Hole down, man. So a big shout out to you guys.
That's awesome. Actually, I saw DJ Chuck's Instagram. He had a bunch of pictures, everything else. And I mean, obviously you got the Oakley ones, so they're sunglasses. I'm gonna say, man, go live right there so we can watch you. Because I'm sitting here and it's Saturday and it's 6:00. I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I could see what rally was like right now, what was going on, or I wish someone that was there. I know, like KJ and all the guys travel. Man, put up a feed for us so we can see it because we lived through your guys' pictures when you all were on the road and it looked like a blast. And there were people that were replying to my Twitter saying, I can't imagine spending money on this team or this and that and going on the road because I said, hat tip to all the fans. There were a lot of burgundy and gold in the stands.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'm not sure from your perspective how many you saw, but Jason said, and we referenced some guys because he's a friend and he's also a listener, said that tickets are dropping. Where's everyone buying them, right? I know a lot of our fans decided to go up last minute. Minneapolis, Minnesota is a hub. You could get flights dirt cheap. Game tickets were dirt cheap, and you guys flew up there, man. And hat tip to all of you that represent the burgundy and gold. I'm just bummed for you guys that it didn't turn out like we all thought was going to happen, but I know they're going to get it right. I don't know when, man. And it's going to be interesting to say. And I know some people are wishing the season was over. We only get 17 games, and I am never going to say I wish it was over yet, right? Not until the very, very last play of that last game am I ever going to say that. But right now, we'll wait till we recap the Giants game.
We got games to play. You can wish it wasn't there, but we got games to play. And matter of fact, in 5 days, basically, we'll be playing a game. So get yourselves together, people, because we got to get right back on this bus, literally, again.
Well, let me know how the rally is. We'll sync back up this week to chat about the Giants. But before we go, I also want to send a thank you and a shout out to Claire. Claire is one of our P1 listeners. It is her birthday. She replies.
Happy birthday.
And chimes in on YouTube. We wish more of you guys would chime in on YouTube. I watch you. I can see you watching and listen to the show. Leave us a comment. There was another listener, a couple of them up there that replied about the ticket situation, how bad it was, international game. We just appreciate you guys interacting. Seriously, it means a lot to Rally and me, especially, during a season like this.
Yes, indeed. Hats off to you guys because, once again, I always tell you guys, Me and Ted get tired of talking to each other. we want some feedback from everybody else. We know you're listening, so hey, do us a favor and talk to us. And you never know, you might get a surprise in return. But I hear the music playing in the background, which lets me know. I always say this brings another episode to the Mess Hall to a close. And remember, you rep it hard, or you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted, out.